So it is, beloved masters. Happiness. Throughout the time of separation, there are many things that humanity has moved away from. In some manner, you might say that the understanding of happiness has been lost in the annals of time, but that isn't true any more than the fact that love would have been lost in the annals of time. It has simply been repressed, suppressed, so that everything around the feelings of happiness have been altered. In many ways, it's become a mental concept. Happiness is contingent on things. Happiness is contingent on events. Happiness is contingent on other people. And these have been the beliefs of separation. But it is, beloved masters, happiness lives in you. It indeed is alive and well. And moving yourself more and more into a place of allowing, you began to discover that perhaps above all things, happiness really is a feeling that occurs in the center, in the solar plex, and gently, softly, sweetly moves out to imbue the whole being with a sense of warmth and belonging, of delight and happiness, but it isn't manic. Happiness is actually very gentle. And as you allow it to permeate every cell of your being, it is lasting. The master, Seraphis Bey, is a teacher of joy. And it is that happiness and joy are subtly connected. The mind has decided that perhaps happiness is a lower degree of joy, but it is that happiness is a radiant energy that opens life to greater levels of awareness. The experience of things, a beautiful sunrise, sunset, a wonderful meal, a delightful relationship, a gift, accomplishing something that perhaps you have waited for years, maybe even believed that you would never accomplish it. And then it happens. And what you feel beyond, yes, the victory of arriving at the place where you have made the accomplishment, the underlying essence that will support you on past that moment of victory, the time of celebration, the realization of love. Happiness supports you. It carries you. It lifts you gently. It is an essence of life that when it is allowed, it is as though every aspect of the life becomes fuller. The depth, the breadth, the scope, the color, the clarity of life is enhanced, imbued with happiness. As we said, many things, fine feelings have been distorted, deadened, dulled. And now in this time of such energetic acceleration on the ball, the veils are being moved aside. It's as though the windows of the soul are being cleared, and you can see, feel with a whole new quality of clarity that you haven't even realized was missing, because it's been so long since you experienced and there almost are no words for it, beloved masters, the quality of happiness, the expression of love in its deepest, truest, fullest sense. That joy, love, happiness are ongoing elements of life, not something I experienced once. I remember it, I had it for a brief time, I haven't known it since, or I only find it occasionally. But it is the quality of feeling is beginning to be revealed on the planet as the masks fall, as the facades of the old order are passing away, as the illusions, tattered and torn, are blowing away in the winds of evolution and revelation, and happiness is opening like a beautiful rose in the heart, soul center. And you can be very happy with the joy, the wonder, the glory of one rose. But if you find that you have a bouquet of roses, the happiness may expand. And as you discover you have a garden of roses, the happiness may be almost more than you can bear until you get used to it. One reason people have not experienced a smooth flow of happiness, an ongoing of happiness, is partly because of the overwhelm that happiness brings. The ego says, now you've had quite enough happiness, and it's time for you to get back to work, to forget this moment, because you don't deserve it, you can't carry it on. What makes you think it's going to last? What if you get addicted to happiness and then someone takes it away from you? And beloved masters, happiness is a part of your divine inheritance. It was a gift that was presented to you when you came to this place to begin this experiment of humanity, of living in the physical realm. And for a long time, happiness was quite profound. But then the ego began to convince people that there was not enough. Not enough land, not enough goods, not enough water, not enough forests, not enough food. And the happiness was set aside, quote unquote, for the moment, so that there could be a battle to gain more things that would make you happy. The only challenge has been that many times the only people that gained happiness were those that were very removed from the general populace. 1% of the population being happy, while 99% were expected to produce the happiness. That is where things have gotten to in more recent times in this game of separation. And yet happiness belongs to each person, and it can be found in so many points of life, of living. It can be found in places that perhaps you have not thought to go in a long time. If you ponder happiness and you look to open the gates, to allow it to flow in, it will come. It doesn't come when it is called by a snap of the fingers. It doesn't come on demand. It doesn't come through expectation. It comes when you are quiet, when you are receptive. It comes in gentleness and delight. Feel it. Feel it. Happiness has imagery that may be your own personal imagery, that may not have anything to do with how someone else would view or feel happiness. But it comes from the things that fulfill. There are people who have come so far into separation that the only, quote-unquote, happiness they find is in the sorrow, sadness, discomfort, pain, loss that others may experience. It's almost as though the suffering of others would feed these people, and it is, beloved masters, as you genuinely live happiness, the honest delight in someone else's well-being. Most people, when they hear a story on the news, on YouTube, on Facebook, of someone doing something lovely for another person or people, a random act of kindness, an inspiration in the moment to help someone rather than make their life more difficult. And all of these things can bring a moment of happiness. But when you feed yourself on the delight of the goodness that is coming to you, that is offered to others, that exists in everyone. Some people have perhaps moved to a point where they don't seem to be as in touch with the goodness, but it doesn't mean it isn't there. The mind is so quick to condemn and to judge that if someone commits a crime, creates an atrocity, that they are damned forever, that they are cursed by God, that they will never have another chance, because the egoic mind operates on the premise of there. So, if someone does something that is a terrible wrong, if the choices that they make are not for the highest good of all concerned, the mind simply wants to close the door, shut them out, ignore them, consider them non-existent. But as you, within yourself, from the Lord God of your being, make more and more of an effort to enjoy the happiness in your life, looking for, feeling into, this is not striving, it's simply being receptive, looking for happiness rather than looking for when happiness is going to end. Because the egoic mind is always poised on the point, and when will this end? When will the other shoe drop? When will the good go away? So allowing yourself a consistency of happiness, an ongoing flow. And happiness has its own language. The words may not be intelligible, and yet you may feel as though you are being spoken to sweetly or sung to in a music that is uplifting, heart-fulfilling. Happiness has color. It has a lot of textures. It has light and dark, because those essences cause everything to be more exquisite. So happiness is always open to the beauty of the moment. And sometimes a little darkness will illumine the brightness so that the whole thing is more outstanding. Being able to forgive those who have not found happiness, do not understand it, do not believe in it, and to hold a loving intention that all who are missing that element of happiness will begin to find it. Not just now and then a glimpse, a glimmer, a bead of sunlight between closed curtains, but an opening. Throw the shades up. Pull the blinds. Allow the drapes to be pulled away. Some light allowed into the life, and more light allowed into the life, and more light, until the illumination becomes comfortable, until the illumination is felt within you. Warm, soft, cozy, comfortable. And the teachings of separation have been, don't get too comfortable. You've got too many things to be doing, so don't get too comfortable. That was then. This is now. And the energy of now is changing dynamically. Get comfortable, get cozy, and consider what you desire. And allow yourself to move into the reality of what you desire. Put yourself into it. Let yourself experience it. It isn't about waiting for someday to come along. Maybe I'll have happiness then. But use your imagination. It's interesting that in the illusion, imagination has been condemned roundly. It has been taunted, it has been frowned on, it has been spoken of as though it is, for some people, a dirty word, imagination. And yet nothing would exist in this place. You wouldn't exist in this place if it wasn't for the imagination element, feminine principle of creation. The masculine energy is passion. So when passion informs imagination, the idea, the concept, the image of what I desire, what comes forth is the Word made incarnate, the image being brought into your physical affairs. So you're comfortable and you're cozy and you are imaging what you desire. You're allowing yourself to just become one with it. Have the experience. If you are imaging that you would, for example, like to go to Hawaii, then put yourself on one of the beautiful islands. Image what is there. It may take a little research. You might want to see a few travel films, but get the image so that you can put yourself into it and feel yourself in it right now. But I'm here. My body is here. I'm not anywhere near Hawaii. Thoughts are things. The minute you have a thought, it becomes a potential. The more that you empower it, no matter what category you might put it into. It's a good thought, it's a bad thought, it's a neutral thought, it was a brief thought. But thoughts are part of creation. So as you are imaging yourself in Hawaii, allow yourself to be happy in the experience. Imagine yourself meeting friendly people, seeing beautiful things, tasting new tastes, smelling new smells. Allow the happiness of freedom. And let it move you forward in the imagery. Allow yourself the experience. Give yourself time to go as long as the experience lasts. And when you consciously return to yourself, and I say consciously, you may feel that you're very conscious in the imagery of the happiness. But when you return to the place where your body is sitting, rather than expecting to be disappointed because you're not physically now in Hawaii, allow yourself to feel the energy that you receive from putting yourself in a happy place. You may actually feel as though you just had a vacation, that you really were that free. You may feel clearer. You may feel more relaxed. You may feel more capable of accomplishing, because you gave yourself time to give yourself over to happiness.